It is day number 16 of the cut, 297 this morning, which is a little bit up since last time, but last time we did this, it was a high carb day. Higher carb day means more carbs stored as glycogen, which means more water stored along with the glycogen, which means weight's going to go up a little bit when I run those high carb days, but that ain't nothing to worry about. That's part of the process, so let's get rolling. Hey, it's me. This is the point where I neglected to read the instructions on my new microphone setup, so that after I switched to the slow-mo mode, my mic stopped recording sound to the camera, even though it said that it was. So the rest of this video has zero audio. And I was going to just scrap the video, but I figured this would be a better option than to miss an upload and having wasted all that footage. I wouldn't have been very happy with myself. So here we are. And I ran a machine overhead press to start this session. The reason I wanted to go with the machine versus a dumbbell or the Arnold press like I had the previous couple of weeks is that with dumbbell, with Arnold press, biggest limiting factor on ability to load that sucker is kicking up big dumbbells. Like I just don't have the oomph right now on that surgery side to get a big dumbbell up without it feeling very hurty or very sketchy. And I know that I could ask a friend for assistance with getting the dumbbell up, but I also don't want to be the guy that is dependent on people to lift a dumbbell up. So we just started out with a machine press because the machine press, I wouldn't be limited in my ability to load other than the stack. I ended up going full stack on this. It felt pretty good, but I think next week I'll probably like pin a plate to the stack so that I can get a little bit more loading on the sucker and get some decent deltoid stimulus. And that like really is the name of the game right now, is I just want to make my deltoids nice and very strong. And this is something Ed Cohen was kind of giving me shit about in relation to tearing my pec. And he was kind of talking about how when he trained, his whole philosophy was around having 0 weak points, period. Now, I don't want any weak points that are going to be limiting my lifts. I don't necessarily think that my shoulders were limiting my bench, but if my shoulders freaking suck, like that might put my pec at a little bit more risk. And I'm thinking kind of like maybe like if I had stronger delts, like maybe that will be protective of my pec in the future. So we are going to be running some overhead pressing throughout this off-season period to try to build those suckers up, and we will see what it does for us. But here on the overhead presses, ended up running 2 work sets of 105s, kind of at the threshold where it kind of felt sketchy to kick up, but it wasn't too bad. It was mostly manageable, and I'm actually really happy with how good these are feeling so far, and I'm hoping that as I can, get better at kicking dumbbells up, we can see bigger and bigger and bigger dumbbells without needing to call Darrell over to babysit me because of my, little childish prepubescent dumbbell kicking up abilities, but that will build up over time. And something I did differently this week versus last week is I ran a dumbbell Arnold press as my second exercise. Now, the reason I ran a dumbbell Arnold press is on the dumbbell overheads, I was kind of like, I feel like I could use more actual overhead pressing, but I also didn't feel like I could be able to run the 105s for another productive set and really get in there, and I didn't want to do a down set on the overhead presses, so I figured the Arnold was a good option to get a little bit more rotation demand, still train the delts hard, still be able to push through hard, still have my shirt lifting up and showing off my little tummy as I get these locked out. But like at this point, delt pump was freaking kicking, and I was actually quite enjoying it. Like it's nice to get a pump and like build things and train things and do things that I'm not used to doing in my normal training. And I think that like even if getting the delt stronger doesn't really pan out in any meaningful way, I'm thinking it still will pan out. But even if it doesn't, like worst case, this is mentally a good refresher to let me, have a little bit of fun, have a little bit of a break period from the old SBD, and that last rep got a little bit greasy, but we're working hard. Someone's gonna comment saying how that was like just a 6 RP or something again, but yeah. Anywho, on these old incline shoulder raising bobbers, and the reason I like doing these on the incline is that it just changes the leverages so that the loading curve is a little bit more aggressive in the bottom end compared to doing them standing up. Like obviously if you ran it with a cable, you could have a more aggressive loading curve in the bottom, but I don't know, I don't like the feel of cables, so I'd rather just run the incline dumbbell. And something I changed for the side raise superset of this portion this week is I just stayed back on the on the incline bench instead of leaning forward, and this actually felt way nastier. I ended up dropping the dumbbells after that set because the first set absolutely kicked my ass. I ran 30s there, dropped it down to 25s because the 30s were just too heavy to be productive. So went it down a little bit, but ran more of these single arm, kind of sloppy-ish, rotated rear delt flies on the reverse pec deck. These are just freaking gnarly, and it's just so good at like creating the feel that I want when I am trying to spread into the bar on bench. Like just really just makes those rear delts work super hard in a way that I haven't really been able to find rear delt work that works this well other than this, like in terms of just like pure tension feel. And I smashed the shit out of my fingers there. That really hurt. I just let the thing go and it came in and hit the other hand, and yeah, not fun. I think this was the video that I was the most disappointed with in not having audio, because I had like a really good Instagram reel planned here. I was going to be talking about like doing the face pulls in a long strap, how it makes it more intuitive to get that spread sensation, makes it more intuitive to really roll scaps back. And then like what was going to make this a good Instagram reel is I was going to comment on how somebody always comments on, where'd you get that strap, Seth? Where's that strap come from? And this strap literally came from aisle 11 at Home Depot. So if you want to get a nice long strap, just go to Home Depot, get a 6-foot toe strap, and loop it through the carabiner, and there's your long face pull strap that works really, really, really well. And then onto some arm training. I have actually been sneaking in extra arm training when I go to the commercial gym for cardio. So I've been doing, a couple sets of, or a couple sets of a couple exercises of a couple curls every time I'm in there for cardio. And I think that's actually helping the arms come up. And as far as exercise selection on this day, started out with the incline curls. Again, incline not because it makes the leverage gnarlier like it does on the front raises, but mostly it makes the stretch gnarlier, puts more length into the bicep. I saw Jesse doing these cable curls, and I thought this was a really good idea because kind of like that pull across like helps the pec to kind of work together with the bicep in that kind of sweeping across motion. It actually felt really good on both the biceps and both the surgery pec, so I am likely going to keep these suckers in. And all I did is I just went back and forth on these for I think 4 sets per side. I just went 0 rest, just went right in, worked hard. And like this is the very end of it, so I'm hardly getting any reps, but highly recommend those. And then I went for these kind of cheaty-ish hammer curls next. And I am doing a little bit of swing out of the bottom, nothing crazy, but I wanted something where I could really try to load heavy, then tag the eccentric as hard as I could. And at the point with how big the pump was, these felt really gnarly. And little pump check for you guys. I mean, arms still not big, but we are absolutely getting there. Like they're getting there. They're going to catch up. Can't have Cole embarrassing me too much. And then last thing I ran today is some standing abs on a band. I wanted to talk about how to do these differently on a band than a cable. And when I started, the cable machine wasn't in use, and the band was just hanging there. So we ran them. And the big focus point with the band versus the cable, on the cable on a lat tower, you can brace your legs against the thigh pad. On a band, most of the time you don't have something to brace your legs against. So priority really becomes on squeezing glutes hard, squeezing quads hard to stabilize lower body. And then you can basically do the same thing on top of that stable lower body and get a really, really, really gnarly ab feel. I was honestly like surprised because I haven't ran these on a band in literally years, like since I was training in the barn with Cole, and I was really surprised by how gnarly these felt compared to the cable. Like it's not quite the same as the cable, but the ramp up in tension, because as the band stretches you get more tension, felt really, really, really nice. So guys, that's what I got for this training recap video. Cut is going wonderful, actually feeling really, really, really freaking good, and I'm excited to not screw up my microphone settings with today's training. So peace out, have a good rest of your day.